Good evening, everybody. Apologies for the delay starting the commentary. We are at round 5. We are at Abu Dhabi for the halfway point tonight in Tier 3. This season is flying by and going ever so quickly. The cars have already made their way out on track, so we'll just quickly blast through the standings as it goes. So last week, LB's win decimated Runes' championship lead just to 8 points. Runes on 65 points. LB in second on 57. He'll be hunting down his second Tier 3 title. Third is Robsu on 49 points. Then we've got a 10-point gap to James Gardner on 39. Fifth is MF. Sixth is Joey B. Seventh is Ralphie. Eighth is Avenir. Drogon is 9th. Wizard 10th. We've got Josh Tagai in 12th, Ads 13th, Sandy 14th, Rycon 15th, Lil Lou Grill in 16th, Tyr in 17th, Bacon Bear 18th, Pepito 20th, and Primeval in 21st, and a couple of reserves on nil point. And just to quickly bang through the constructors also, Aston Martin sit on 95 points, 17 points clear of Red Bull on 78. In third, we've got the V-Carbs or the Red Bull, I can't think. It's the sister Red Bull team. Sorry, I can't pronounce their name right now. I'm too tired. They're on 77 points. McLaren on 51 points. Tied with Mercedes also on 51 points. Sixth is Ferrari on 42 points. Williams on 39 points. Alpine on 34 points. Sauber on 23. And Haas down on 18 points. So now we've got that out of the way. Let's quickly ride on board with see who's on a lap, shall we? Right, there we go. I've got my bearings together. So I think it's going to be Josh first over the line. We'll keep an eye on Josh. He's just coming around the last corner. I believe he's looking quite pacey around here tonight as he crosses the line for 124.146. The MS crosses the line just behind and goes second. Joey B in third position, 6/10 off his teammate at the moment. That's roughly the guide what he told me he was behind. Primeval is just retired in the pit lane, I believe. He is serving a qualifying ban. Runes has gone into the pits. Avenir just crosses the line, I believe, to start a fast lap. We got a Red Bull, I believe, or is it LB Racer? I'm not too sure. It was Ads just crossing the line. There's too many blue cars and I can't tell the difference between the dots. But LB Racing just coming around the last corner. He is the man on form at the moment and he is up to 5th position, a whopping 1.5 seconds off of pole positions. James Gardner is in 5th. Hope you don't mind calling you James Gardner with your new PSN name. It's just easier for me. We've got Drogon, who's invalidated. We've got Avenir. Also just coming down the second DRS straight on the circuit into this newly redeveloped long swooping left spoon of a corner. I'll say new, it's a couple of years old now, but I think it's changed the circuit for the better, and the corner in at the end of the first sector going into the second sector definitely makes league racing a lot more enjoyable anyway. Avenir negotiating the last couple of corners, looking quite good on this lap. That's nice and tidy as he crosses the line and goes pole with a 123.942. And just watching him in that last sector, the car was just gliding through beautifully, and he's hooked up a very good lap. He will be buzzing with that lap time for sure. We've got Ralphie and Drogon. Is Drogon having another bite at the cherry, or is he on an in lap? We will see. Negotiating that spoon corner ever so nicely. You want to get out wide as possible to open up these next few corners nicely. hug the inside here. Try not to let the back end just step out on you too much. This is where the traction can drop the car around here. I'm sure we'll see that plenty of times in this league over the next week. Drogon comes around the last corner, keeping the car as straight as possible to the line, and sets a 1:23.872 and goes fastest, taking pole position off of Avenir. Good evening, Sir Daka. How are you doing, my friend? Nice of you to tune in. Daka, if you could be a gentleman and ping me corner numbers in a Discord private chat again, I would love you even more than I would love you already. Sorry, I've just had a crazy evening, and getting home quite late has kind of just disrupted me. So Drogon currently sitting on pole position. As a few cars are coming out. Ralphie's just crossed the line. I'm thinking some of these audio settings might be drowning out my voice. Please do let me know as well. I've tried Ghost tactic of having like the onboard audio, but it seems to be... It feels like it's drowning me out anyway, just talking. Thank you, Daka. So Runes has just started the lap. We'll ride on board with him as he is the championship leader, as he is 7 tenths down. I'm not too sure if I quite believe that time, or Shabby Trinae's ran miles wide there. I think that probably is a true representation. So we have Robsu just starting a lap as well. He hasn't set a time as of present. It's a 17.8 as he crosses the first sector line. It's very tricky corner, that start of sector 2. Always tricky to get right. Zeki says Runes is in the mud, but remember, Runes is the championship leader. I would say he's probably definitely the least muddiest of them all at the moment. And he's showing good pace early on this season. As I believe the last car, which was Stanley, has just set a time into 5th position, a 1:24.313. A good lap for Stanley, as Robsu just coming round the last sector now. Runes doesn't have line today. Okay, I remember. I do remember this, yes. Well, still, the P8 is not bad, and from my experience going with no racing line, you get faster as the race goes on. Robsu goes up to 11th position with a 1:25.035. I know he'll be disappointed with that, and he can go faster. Absolutely. Joey B, Sir Joseph, is on a lap, and he's fractionally up on his time. Joe also does not run at racing line around here. Racing line in tier 3. So here's a car who also is very dependent on finding pace as the race goes on. It's all about picking the right braking points as well. A little bit deep into those corners. You hug the inside to make the straight as short as possible. DRS open. We'll see a lot of cars defending that inside of the track as well in the race. Very popular for someone to try and throw their car out the inside going into that spoon corner. So Joey B negotiating the very... thank you, Daka, for that explanation. That is probably why I haven't got anyone giving me a hard time in party chat tonight. Joe's had enough of that lap. He has invalidated. He's coming straight into the pit lane. Let's keep an eye on Avenir and Drogon. they'll be trading blows at the front. Drogon just ever so slightly up on his time. Avenir is just invalidated as we jumped on board going under the hotel. So, Drogon, it's over to you. Can he improve his time? Currently a 1:23.8 is the benchmark for Tier 3 to try and beat tonight. Catching a slight bit of wheel spin there, but opens up his DRS now. Doesn't hug the inside of the track as much as we saw Joey B do a few moments ago, but he is still up on his time by 76 thousandths of a second. So he is currently on course for an improvement here. He's definitely getting as much as he can out of this Red Bull through these set of corners, and he invalidates under the hotel. Just running a bit too far wide there. MS, very impressive the last few weeks from MS. Definitely was up there in Baku. Found himself just running comfortably and getting his strongest result in APP last week, which is very nice to see. We'll hang around with MS in a moment. Let's just see who else is on the lap. Runes in the mud, as you guys were saying. We caught that on stream, him missing the chicane. LB Racing says he's up by over half a second, which is probably true, knowing LB Racing. He knows when to improve and put out a decent lap time around the penultimate and final corners. Keeps the car straight to the line and up to 6th position. He will be happy with that. MS still once again up on his time. Still needs just to find a little bit of improvement to jump up to P3. But if he carries on this lap the way he improved in the first and second sector, he will go up to 3rd. He goes up to 2nd. Even better. Almost up 4/10 on his previous best. So MS with a 1:23.914. That is a brilliant lap, MS. Absolutely superb. Lil Louis Grill down in 12th. Unfortunately, doesn't look like they are improving on their time. Nope. Bacon Bear. The tastiest bear in the world. Made of bacon. MS win? Crazy. Well, you never know. You never know. Bacon Bear has had enough. Probably heard my terrible commentary there as she just avoids going into the pits there as Drogon on an outlap just warming up LB Racing. So all the cars will be roughly in the pits now, just getting ready to do their last runs. Joey B has come out early and it looks like he is on a lap. We'll also keep an eye on Robsu, who is just behind Joe. So we'll keep an eye on these two cars, as I believe they are the next ones to cross the line and potentially set a lap time. Just see how Joe hugs the inside of that track there. Just try to make the straight as short as possible. And he is up on his time. 3.5 tenths up. He will be happy. And it's going to be roughly midfield if he carries on improving at this pace. We'll be looking to qualify in LB territory, I would say. If he carries on, definitely making sure he stays within the track limits there. It's looking like a very tidy sector 3 from Joey B. Around the last corner, it takes as much curb as he dares, straight lines to McLaren and goes up to 5th position just behind his teammate. He will be incredibly happy with that time. Robsu just coming around the last corner as he does improve, but only up to 12th. Robsu is definitely has a qualifying curse on him, but he does come strong in the race. It's been notoriously for a few years now been not as strong in qualifying as his race pace. Ghost will tell you that, who commentates on Tier 2. But Robsu definitely has the race pace under him to find himself in a handy position when it counts. So Avenir is just starting a lap, and also Drogon is on a lap. Drogon is ahead of Avenir, so we'll keep an eye on Drogon. We've also got Josh out there as well. So a few cars beginning to set times as Drogon negotiating the hotel. The rear end of the car just steps out and runs wide as he dares, but he doesn't invalidate this time. Will he be up on his time? That looked a little bit scruffy, dare I say. Around the last corner, keeps the car as straight as possible to the line. He does improve to a 1:23.625. And now Avenir is down. He's probably hopefully just charging up. Does he have enough time for another lap? I can't see beyond the yellow flags. So we'll keep an eye on Josh the guy, Joey B's teammate in the McLaren. Is looked quite racy today, as Josh hasn't quite recovered since missing out on the Tier 3 title last season. Crosses the line and stays 4th position. Just trying to keep up with everybody. Ads is on the lap, but slightly down. Runes, he is on a lap as he charges up to the end of Sector 2, 5.1 seconds down. That will not be an improvement. Robsu is not on a lap. Lil Louis Grill crosses the line to 1:24.9. Bacon Bear is also, looks like the last to start a lap. Drogon isn't improving. As MS sets a, I don't think that is, I think MS was on a 1:23.9 anyway. I do believe. But saying Josh the guy is up on his time, we will keep an eye on this. Because if he carries on improving at this rate, he will be upsetting the front runners. Also, we got Joey B, who's just fractionally down on his time. A few cars opting to do 2 laps on these soft tyres by the looks of things. Joey B comes around the last corner to the line. Can he improve? He does. He demotes Stanley, so we'll keep an eye on Josh as he crosses the line and he jumps up to pole position for 1:23.480. What a lap from the McLaren driver. That is absolutely sensational. MS slightly down on his time. We'll keep an eye on Drogon then, as it looks like the tyres are improving. No matter, even if you stay out and do a second lap, it seems like they do have the life in them to get them through. We'll also keep an eye on the likes of Stanley and LB Racing. Runes is also up. Nerf Josh. We won't talk about nerfs in the chat today. We'll try and keep the nerf talk to a minimum. Let's be respectful to the drivers. Josh is on no line. Yeah, but let's, Josh has put in the practice for this race. He is on pole position by merit. As Runes crosses the line into 4th, so no line, no problem for Runes. We'll keep an eye on Drogon as he crosses the line. Just doesn't improve, I believe, as that looks like we are done and dusted for qualifying. So that is pretty much it. I'm just going to take a quick break to have a drink, and then we'll quickly bang through the starting order for tonight's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So tonight's pole position goes to Josh the guy with 1:23.480. A superb lap. 10th and a half behind is Drogon, joining him on the front row. And 3rd, we've got Avenir. And 4th, we've got Runes rounding off the second row. 5th and 6th, we've got MS and LB Racing, respectively. And 7th, we've got Joey B. 8th, we've got Stanley. Ralphie is in 9th. Ads is down in 10th. James Gardner in 11th. Robsu is in 12th. And damn, I didn't see the rest of the grid, but I believe it was Bacon Bear. Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to read out your name. Apologies, those 30 seconds do go quick. So, cars lined up on the grid. Selecting strategies. Please do bang in the chat any race predictions. Daka, thank you for the corner numbers. I will do my very best to memorize them now. Taking a screenshot with my brain. Okay, I'll try and remember the key corners. I will try and have that lit up the best I can as well. I used to print them out and have it on a sheet of paper in front of me, but yeah, just the commitment is lacking at the moment. But we'll blame work for that. So the drivers should be roughly about finishing up their strategies. Primeval will start dead last as well. He served a qualifying ban after a few escapades last week. And we do have the lights starting now. 5 red lights. And we're underway for that Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in Tier 3. It looks like a good start for Josh Tagai as well. But Drogon alongside shoots himself into the lead as Runes goes up as well into 3rd position. Following the McLarens now, as we have yellow flags at the back, and MS has had a very poor start. Not too sure what's happened to him at the beginning, but all the drivers beginning to file through now and find order at the back. We have a few overtakes as Primeval has made his way up the grid and collects Lil Louis Grill. Not too sure what happened with that one there. Yes, the commentator's curse, but Drogon in the Red Bull leads the drivers into turns 6 and 7, and DRS is not activated this lap. You have to wait one racing lap before they racing stewards activates the DRS. You can see Joe hugging the inside there as we have cars going 2 wide into the spoon hairpin corner of turn number 9. A few drivers running wide there as well, but all looking very clean and respectful as we make it through the tight and twisty sector 3. Yellow flags again as and there is a Red Bull around, and that is Drogon. Drogon has spun himself out of the lead here, and all of a sudden Josh Tagai has a clear racetrack ahead of him, and I'm not in favour of drivers being happy of one another spinning out, but Josh will be smiling like a Cheshire cat at the moment, having free air, and with his qualifying pace, definitely will be looking to try and break the DRS to Runes. Joey B up to 3rd position. LB is in 4th position. Let's just quickly see position changes as Runes has made up 2 positions. Joey B up 4 positions. LB up 2 positions. James Gardner, the biggest winner so far, is up in 5th. Avenir has lost 3 positions. Robsu is up in 5th. I told you it'd be handy on his race pace. Ralphie in 8th. Stanley has dropped down 1 position. Primeval is up 5 positions. Ads has lost 1. Bacon Bear is up 2. Drogon, the biggest loser, spinning from the lead, going under the hotel. And MS, also the biggest loser, in last, down 10 positions. Lil Louis Grill has lost a place. We'll quickly have a look at tyres as 13 of the 15 drivers have opted for the medium tyres. 2 drivers on hard tyres, as it's still pretty tight out up front. Runes has got into the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm really sorry if we've missed that on stream, but Runes is currently leading the way from Josh Tagai. I'm not sure if Josh has had a moment, as Joey B is on their tail as well, but LB Racing on those hard tyres is looking very strong on the hard tyres. He hasn't lost ground to the cars in front, and as long as he stays in DRS, then all of a sudden the race will turn into his favour. Primeval is also on hard tyres, so we'll keep an eye on his progress. Joey B just lingering outside the DRS at the moment, and I believe he has missed it. So that could be very costly in his pursuit for a race win here today. But we'll ride on board with Josh Tagai as he opens his DRS, and will he pick the right moment to attack Runes? Holds back going into turns 6 and 7. You do not want to jump too early, as you leave yourself a sitting duck down this second DRS straight, as we see Runes hugging the inside, just ready to cover off Josh if he needs to, but Josh is too far back to try any move on this occasion. And now the DRS, you can see, is working into full effect. Joey B also managing to keep hold of 3rd position without DRS. He'll be happy with that also, as MS finds herself at the back, and I'm guessing that was a tyre change, obviously a tyre change, but a wing change as well. Looking at the time MS has lost, very unfortunate, because he does have a good pace. from what we've seen in qualifying. As I believe that was Avenir just getting a bit squirrely coming out of the last corner there. Lucky not to end up in the barrier, I would say. And now it is all aboard the Joey B train. He's really struggling for pace especially in this first sector with the cars in front. LB Racing looking for a dive at the inside on his old foe and Tier 2 rival. Lap data. Sumo, you're asking a... Oh, of course. I apologise, Sumo. There we go. Sorry, I'm not a professional like yourself, Sumo. As Joey B has been royally mugged in that process. LB Racing is up to third position, bringing along James Gardner, as Sumo calls him an amateur, and I don't respect that at all. That is absolutely disgusting behaviour from Sumo in the commentary chat. Please, my fellow viewers, get on his case and just remind him who is number one. Runes and Josh the Guy currently just peeling away in the lead now. We'll have to keep an eye on the tyre crossover, as soon the hard tyres will become the better tyres, and we will see LB Racing potentially claw back the gap with the front two runners. But will LB Racing bring the rest of the field with him, as James Gardner is looking particularly racy tonight, and Joey B is out once again, out of DRS on James Gardner, is just falling back. And maybe it's just a track Joe doesn't like without racing line. So now the cars will tow each other along using the DRS. It's been activated since lap 2 now, so we're on lap 5 of 29 in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for Tier 3. Josh the Guy all over the back of the Aston Martin, and this is the closest he has been for some time. Since DRS has been activated, he's going to look for a move around the outside of Runes at the turn 9, but doesn't do it, but tries to get the undercut on Runes, but no, tries holding it out, but backs out sensibly without causing any contact at all. Runes in the lead, just looking to be just struggling through a couple of the corners at the moment. This is where Josh is just biding his time, waiting for the right moment to make the overtake. LB Racing still in third position, towing along James Gardner quite nicely, but just hanging on to the DRS as LB Racing runs very wide there, but also I think he might have exploited that running wide to just get the gap on James Gardner behind, as now LB Racing is closing in on the cars ahead. 1.8 seconds to Josh the Guy, and I believe that was a purple first sector, but we'll ignore that, running wide at turn 1. Change position back here. Robsu has got past Avenir, fairly basic overtake using a DRS, but Robsu, the rocket ship Robsu, is on the move and is very handy in the race. Ignore his qualifying pace. His race pace is what it's all about, and he's motoring on very nicely in P5 as it stands. Let's just have a quick look further back. We do have a few DRS cars in DRS at the moment. Stanley on the back of Primeval. Primeval having a very solid race up in P7. Started dead last, serving the qualifying ban, but looks to be a lot more settled this week. And James Gardner picks up a 3-second time penalty. Stanley also has a 3-second time penalty. I'm assuming Bacon Bear does as well. And MS at the back, but MS is a long way back, and we'll be praying for a safety car at some point in tonight's race. LB's gap just hovering around 1.7 seconds. Seems to have the pace in the first sector over the cars around him. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, the McLaren hounding the Aston Martin around this long left-hander, the reprofiled turn of turn number 5. Josh the Guy still in the DRS of Runes. Drogon sets the fastest lap. Breaker marking boards are really, really useful around here, especially if you run no line, especially in that chicane. That is the biggest braking point. You do need to rely on the braking boards. It just looks like Josh the Guy is very content just to sit behind Runes at the moment. The gap to LB Racing is just dropped outside of 2 seconds, but LB Racing finds himself very comfortably on the podium at the moment. And as it stands, he will not want to see a safety car as he stretches out these hard tyres. I'm sure the medium runners will be very happy with how things are going at the moment. Safety car wouldn't be too bad for them, as it looks like Runes has dived into the pits. He has indeed. He is in the pits. Slows the car down, doesn't get a speeding penalty in the pit lane. What tyres is Runes going to throw on the Aston Martin? And it is the white hard tyres. So will he get those tyres to the end? Now that's the main thing. We see quite a lot in tier 3 at the moment. That tyre management is a real struggle on this game. So maybe a 2-stop race potentially for Runes as he comes out of the pit lane and files in 9th position. Josh the Guy now currently in 1st position. LB Racing just closing the gap up behind now, as we definitely see the tyres crossing over. And will the undercut of Runes be really strong compared to Josh the Guy? LB Racing just happy to run at his own pace out front at the moment. James is in podium position now. Runes is boxed, and Robsu is up to P4. And Robsu definitely just quietly going about his business, having a very solid race today. We'll see if Josh the Guy reacts to Runes boxing. No, he stays out. He feels comfortable on those medium tyres. Perhaps eyeing up the one-stop strategy, as LB Racing just ever closer in the background to the McLaren. Around turn 1, as it seems like LB's pace, especially in sector 1, is just so much greater than everyone else at the moment on those hard tyres, as he is definitely must have been trying to burn his ERS to get within the DRS, but just misses out. But he'll have another bite at the cherry after the chicane ahead, turns 6 and 7. Long straight, you want to stick to the right hand side as much as possible. Josh the Guy is just happy to sit where he is at the moment, in the lead. So further back, we do have MS at the back, kind of in no man's land, unfortunately, as we do have an overtake by Runes, just getting past Lil Louis Grill under DRS, and gets that Aston Martin stopped just in the nick of time at the chicane at the end of the first straight. Lil Louis Grill will have DRS, but I don't think it's enough to threaten Runes, as Runes sets himself after Ralphie and Primeval ahead now. Will the McLaren box this lap? No, staying out for another lap. I think Josh the Guy is definitely going to push his McLaren on for a one-stop here. Also, LB Racing could be on the one stop as well. We do have yellow flags for Avenir, I believe, who has spun. Yeah, Avenir has dropped it. It looks like those medium tyres are probably past their sell-by date. Opts not to go into the pits, though, as Ralphie and Primeval jump into the pits. That is a few less cars for Runes to overtake, which will help his undercut strategy as it stands. LB Racing within half a second of Josh the Guy now for the lead. James Gardner in the background just running a very solid P3. LB Racing up to the inside of turn 5, turn 6 and 7, gets the move done. Josh doesn't fight that too much, but has LB Racing jumped the gun a bit too early? He jumps to the inside. Josh the Guy is hanging on the outside, but no, LB Racing is pulling away. So maybe the medium tyres just have worn off and can't give Josh the Guy the straight line speed, even with DRS. unless LB Racing is running far superior wings to the McLaren. Bacon Bear in 7th at the moment. A very solid race from herself so far. Has yet to pit though, so we'll see how her race transpires when the pit stops do come into effect. Robsu has jumped into the pits and is on the 1 lap hard tyres now, chasing down Bacon Bear. Bacon Bear running very wide there, and Robsu will not want to get stuck behind that Alpine for much longer. Bacon Bear actually very sensibly just moving out of the way. Has my respect for doing that. That's very kind and very sportsmanlike, or sportsperson-like, shall I say, for doing that. Josh Degay has still stayed out and has fallen outside of the DRS, but actually flips open his DRS following LB Racing, as now dragging his mediums as far as he can go. Primeval with a 3-second time penalty, as it looks like the time penalties are slowly beginning to settle in now, as once again DRS for the McLaren. Still hanging on the back of LB Racing. LB Racing will want to drop the McLaren pretty soon. Runes is up in 3rd position now, as he is closing really nicely on the McLaren ahead. So it's going to be interesting to see how this second stint does pan out for the Aston Martin and the McLaren driver alike, but also the Racing Bull in front. The Visa Cash App Racing Bull. See, I can say it. I did forget their name momentarily when reading out the standings, but I was just booting up my commentary system. Joey B settled down in 5th position now. It hasn't hemorrhaged positions like he was at the beginning. Maybe he's find a bit more comfortable on the hard tyres, as Avenir now swoops into the pits. He's had enough of those medium tyres. I'm sure he'll be bolting on the hard tyres, as we do have someone else around, and I believe it's Drogon again. Not too sure what's happened to Drogon. Looking to come into the pits. Drogon has come into the pits to replace his front wing by the looks of it, and probably throw on another set of hard tyres. Still a long race, still a long way to go. Safety car could really shake anything up here for Drogon. But maybe just not happy with the setup of his car for this track. Seems to just the back end just seems to drop out as and when he needs it most. So Josh the guy has fallen out of LB's DRS, but is very content on those medium tyres, as he's still pushing the McLaren around, as Runes is not far behind. And Runes, if Josh the guy isn't careful, Runes will catch up a pit stop again. And if Josh decides to box, then Runes could also have the option to box and throw on another set of fresh tyres to really hound him. Runes is may have had racing line taken away from him, but he is far from in the mud. Looking very handy, as we've got an overtake back here. With James Gardner on Robsu. James Gardner is not hanging around on the hard tyres. But I'm not too sure if that overtake was driven by a mistake or anything. But Robsu is going to have DRS on James Gardner. We'll just quickly see as Robsu, as I said, we call him the rocket ship for a reason. He usually runs very low wings, as James Gardner just does not have an answer for Runes' pace along the back straight. So Joey B at some point has actually dispatched Runes as well, and sitting comfortably in P4. The top 3 are in a race of their own at the moment. Runes really hounding down on Josh the guy, as Josh is about to lose pretty much a pit stop on Runes. Runes will potentially be able to run a 2-stop and not really have too much of a headache about it if he carries on at this pace. As the McLaren is actually in the pits now, He's decided that is enough for those medium tyres. 13 laps, really impressive stint to open his Grand Prix, as he boxes now for the hard tyres. LB Racing will be definitely looking to take his hard tyres to maybe lap 18 or 19 and do 10 laps on the mediums at the end. So Josh, the guy just coming out the pits now, he's in P7 as it stands, will return to the track in P7. Just behind Stanley, will have the DRS. This is usually you don't like to get stuck behind cars coming out of the pits, but whilst Denko says Josh is in traffic, but it's the right time to come out in traffic as he opens his DRS, and already you can see the cars ahead battling. We do have Robsu and James Gardner really pushing each other out front for the final podium spot at the moment, but we will keep an eye on Josh as he is really closing in on the back of his teammate as well. Will Joey B play the sportsman game and let his teammate through? It doesn't look like it at the moment, but we will watch Josh's pace at the moment. Runes in P2 and having a very solid race without racing line. Runs very wide there as I say that, and picks up a 3-second penalty. So you do talk about commentator's curse, and I have just cursed him there. Lap 15 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. LB Racing comfortably in the lead. Still needs to box though. Needs to change his tyres, and it looks like he will be throwing on the medium tyres. I can't see many drivers opting for the soft tyres in this circuit. I imagine they'll get chewed under race conditions. Runes hugging the right hand side of that track, but the real battle here is between Robsu and James Gardner. Once again they duel down the back straight as James Gardner opens his DRS, looking to set an attack on Robsu. I don't think he'll do it into this chicane here, as there is another DRS straight just around these two corners. That's one corner down, second corner is down. Now we have a race to the DRS straight now, as James Gardner does have DRS open, but Robsu's wings, as we predicted, are just set as low as possible, and James Gardner just does not have an answer unless he does can use his downforce to try and catch Robsu out in one of these corners. But Robsu will be ever present in his wing mirrors, as that Ferrari is pushing Robsu round the slower section of the circuit, just going to show that Robsu really does have his car set up for straight line speed here. Josh the guy in 5th position and closing up to Robsu ahead. It'll be interesting to see how Josh the guy deals with the two squabbling Red Bull and Ferrari cars ahead. Will he lose a lot of time behind them? He will be looking to really crack on and not to lose any time, as Denko was on about. He isn't quite within DRS, I don't think, no, but he should be within DRS at the end of this straight, as James does get past Robsu, and they have collected each other. James just not reading the track there on the outside, as it does weirdly cut in, and Robsu, I think, does get away with that. It looks like he is missing a front right end plate now, as Josh the guy is looking to make moves on the two cars ahead now. How much will that missing end plate impact Robsu's pace, as around the outside of James he goes. Now here we go, JB with the latest driver to suffer with a track limits penalty. McLaren driver will be getting very frustrated through this sector, just stuck behind the two cars ahead, and seeing them squabble as well just only spells danger for himself as well, not wanting to get involved in any track commotion ahead, as Robsu does box off those hard tyres. Maybe that wing damage is just a bit too much for Robsu to manage, and I'll imagine with the low wings, then yeah, any little bit of downforce he got just got a lot worse, losing that front right end plate. So it looks like Josh has lost a bit of time to Runes ahead now. The gap was 13 seconds between Runes and James Gardner on the last lap, but now it sits at 14.5 seconds as Josh completes probably the most simple overtake he will make today, as James Gardner will look to hang on to the back of the McLaren. Will he trouble him under DRS is yet to be seen. It doesn't look like it. Nope. Josh Tagai does have P3 signed, sealed and delivered at the moment. LB Racing still out in the lead on 16 lap hard tyres. Make that 17 as he crosses the line now as we start lap 18 of 29 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. As LB Racing is currently making inroads on the championship leader, but still needs to box. But Runes running wide there will not help his cause at all. Perhaps just locking up. I'm not sure if Runes is running ABS or not. It looked like a bit of a lock-up, and he bailed out of it just to preserve his tyre wear. Primeval with another time penalty as well. We will flick up time penalties in the next few laps just to see how they will play out as the grid starts taking shape. Runes will not want to collect any more time penalties though, as Josh Tagai is now on the move, looking to close down the leaders. But LB Racing is also the driver to watch in the moment. He will be on the much fresher medium tyres and have great pace at the end of this Grand Prix. Stanley running a very respectable P5 at the moment in the Mercedes. We've also got Ralphie in the Alpine down in 6th, also a very respectable drive for Ralphie, as Primeval just has got Avenir hounding him behind. Avenir didn't look like he went for the move, but perhaps maybe Primeval made the move that I didn't see. But on those 8-lap mediums, I would imagine Avenir is sizing up a move on the Williams. Ads down in 9th. Unfortunately for Ads, having a race on his own. But we'll have Joey B behind him in a few moments. Joey B has pitted for a second time, as we do have cars in the pits actually. We do have Runes in for a second time, but we also have the race leader as Runes comes back out on hard tyres. LB Racing is on the fresh mediums as predicted. Well, he had no choice really. He couldn't go on another set of hards. Otherwise he would be disqualified. As I'm sure all us racing veterans know, but if you are new to the sport, you do need to run 2 different tyre compounds in the Grand Prix in dry conditions. LB going from hard to mediums, and the other most of the grid going from mediums to hards. Rob Sewers also boxed for medium tyres. He will possess great pace in that Red Bull towards the end of this Grand Prix as well. So now LB Racing will be putting those medium tyres to good use. Runes is caught right up to the back of the Racing Bull here, finding himself in a very handy position. And going by how the race started, after about 5 or 6 laps, the hard tyres were the tyres to be on. LB Racing picks up a 3-second time penalty, and all of a sudden Josh Tagai will have seen that on his timing boards on the top left of his screen. So he knows now he is the only driver around him that does not have a time penalty. So he's just got to keep it within the white lines, and a potential race victory is up for grabs. Let's get the penalty situation up, because they seem to be coming in thick and fast. So penalties. Josh Tagai and Avenir do not have penalties at the moment. Drogon doesn't have a penalty, and Lulu Grill does not also have a penalty. But James Gardner, LB Racing and Runes have 3 seconds each. Stanley, Joey B and Robsu also have 3 seconds each. Then we've got Bacon Bear on 12 seconds, Ralphie on 3 seconds, Primeval on 6 seconds, Ads on 3 seconds, and MS on 3 seconds. MS is the driver I feel sorry for most. Unfortunately, a turn 1 incident has just completely destroyed his race, and just way off the pace now. I wouldn't say he's off the pace, but it's always going to be hard to close the gap on the cars ahead. Now they've all been having DRS to their benefit as well, as he's got a lot of work to do. But he's credit to him. He stayed in this Grand Prix. Many drivers I see just go to the pit lane and box. It just does my head in seeing people retire from the pit, from a race in the pit lane. Just completely pointless. Drogon in 9th has just dispatched Ralphie by the looks of things. But we'll keep an eye on the cars ahead, as we will start to focus on the top 3, as the battle for the podium is in full swing now. I think we have got our podium set up between Josh, LB and Runes, but in what order is to be decided. Josh the Guy will be looking to hang on the back of these cars if they do manage to get past. But there is a 4.5 second gap to Josh the Guy ahead. But in Sector 3 will be the telling sector as to how much time and tyre life they can gain on Josh. See, Josh has lost pretty much half a second, more than half a second to LB Racing in Sector 3. And that's just in Sector 3 on this lap alone. Their tyres are completely in full swing compared to the McLaren ahead. And surely Josh just won't have an answer for these cars behind when they do finally approach him. Josh has to manage tyres, unfortunately, says Denko. Yeah, he's superbly managed a one-stop strategy around here, but looks like the tyre management is going to come back and be his worst enemy. For as much as we applaud one-stops in any race at the moment, it just perhaps isn't going to work out for Josh the Guy. But it's yet to be seen. Time penalties can play a factor, as Josh does have comfortable pace down the back straight. We do have a little train back here. Stanley in 5th and Joey B. Sorry, Stanley in 6th and Joey B in 7th. Joe using his DRS to full effect to try and get on the back of the Mercedes driver. Denko saying if Josh defends well, he will win this race. I believe that is 7 racing laps to go, and just look at the gap coming down in the 3rd sector. That's terrifying pace from the 2 cars behind. But also remember, Runes will be on the hard tyres, and I imagine in the next 2 laps those hard tyres will surpass the performance of the medium tyres, and Runes will all of a sudden find himself the fastest driver on the track. Yeah, Hugo saying they do need to pass and pull away. Exactly, as the late great Murray Walker used to say, catching up is one thing, but passing is quite another. As the gap sitting at 2.4 seconds at the moment. Runes does seem to, Josh the Guy does seem to have the pace on the back straight. As Hugo saying they will have DRS on lap 26. It's a bit like having AWS in the chat with us, predicting when the overtake will happen or when the DRS will be activated. So we shall see. I will go lap 25 personally, if the pace carries on like this. So the gap is 2.5 seconds. Just keep an eye on that through this last sector. Okay, the gap is hanging around 2.5 seconds. Maybe, just maybe, Josh did have a scruffy lap a few laps ago. LB Racing crosses the line with Runes in hot pursuit. Second and third will stay as they are with the time penalties. They have a comfortable 18-second gap to Avenir in fourth position. Avenir impressively does not have a time penalty at the moment. As we do have a bit of a moment on track there, and that will only help Josh's case for the race win here. It looks like maybe Runes just clipped the back of the Racing Bull and didn't go for the overtake, and that is damage on the Aston Martin as well, I believe. It looks like he's missing a front left end plate, so maybe just tagging the back of LB Racing and losing his front left end plate. Yeah, there is no front left end plate on that Aston Martin. So all of a sudden, Runes' Grand Prix is falling apart, just like his front wing. He will do well to keep the pace now, especially through these tight, windy corners. But Josh the Guy will be the happiest driver of them all to see them make contact behind, and he's just eked out a 1.5 second gap to what it was on the last lap. This is Josh's race to lose. Yeah, Runes just cannot keep up with LB Racing now. The gap is 1.2 seconds, and perhaps Runes will be looking to just consolidate a podium finish here. Lap 25 of 29. Hello to everybody in the chat and everybody viewing the Tier 3 stream tonight. It's nice to have you on board. So yes, Runes with that missing front left end plate has kind of nullified this battle for the podium. As it stands, LB Racing has closed up ever so slightly, but also dropped Runes out of DRS, and this is where LB Racing will just be so much faster. It'll be interesting to see if the stewards have anything to say about that coming together, or whether Runes just sent a very optimistic overtake on LB. Maybe the master is of his own downfall here. Denko saying that Abu Dhabi is the worst track for him. I'm sure if you carry on in the form that you have shown, you will be absolutely fine come tomorrow night, Denko. I will be cheering on from the football. So a nice little battle going on back here. Fourth, well, I'd say sixth position as Stanley. I can't see him overtaking Avenir and pulling the gap. He might overtake, but pulling the gap will be very tricky. Joey B just falling out of DRS again in Sector 1. Sector 1 has definitely been Joey B's Achilles heel tonight. I am really sorry I can't be there tomorrow to be your lucky charm, Denko. I really am sorry. I will be back next Tuesday. It's just, unfortunately, I do have a season ticket out at Oxford United, and I do try to make every game I can. But you can cheer on Oxford for me tomorrow. Josh the Guy getting ready to start lap 27 of 29. It has been a bit of a slow burner this race. There are a few cars at the back of the field battling nicely here, as Primeval has got a 6-second time penalty. He's also got Ads and MS behind him. MS has caught up to the cars ahead, as Primeval does have a missing front right end plate, and I dare not to think how he lost that. Hopefully with just a barrier. but MS on the back of the 2 cars ahead, hounding down the Williams driver. Runes has got back within DRS of LB Racing, so those medium tyres are definitely probably beginning to just cry a little bit on that V-carb, as that gap is just coming down hand over fist to LB Racing. But Josh the guy is just managing his hard tyres ahead, as he's done 13 lap on the hard tyres. Very impressive drive tonight by Josh the guy, in total control once he's got the race lead. We'll just quickly flick it back to interval. We want penalties. There we go, just to make sure that penalties will not shake up the final finishing order on the podium, as LB and Runes, another penalty could prove costly for either driver. And now Runes is really pushing that V-carb around these next few corners. The gap is 3 seconds out the front. I think the win is pretty much in the bag for Josh the guy. I am sorry if I have cursed him, but Aston Martin swoops around turn 5. LB goes very defensively across to the other side of the track, and they could not be further apart coming down this straight now, as the circuit does tighten up ever so slightly. Side by side into the chicane, as Runes looking to get the overtake done. And now, as LB was conserving his ERS, Runes opens his DRS and has good pace on the car ahead as he jumps to the inside and around the turn 9. Has he got the car under control on LB Racing? LB Racing not giving up this second position, as he is hanging on to the back. Dummies. Runes off the track at the moment. They are side by side, going under the hotel. This is absolutely fantastic racing by these two drivers. A bit of wheel banging going on there, and LB Racing does get the position back on Runes. That is a huge overtake by LB Racing. Great defensive move there, as we do start lap 29 of 29. It is a final lap shootout for P2 in this Grand Prix. The gap is extended to 4.2 seconds ahead. Runes runs very wide there. It looks like he eased off the accelerator there, not to get a track limit or a time penalty. LB Racing just setting his car up in the best position possible to get as good a drive as he can, as Runes is hanging onto the back of the racing bull here, down the back straight. Into the back he goes, and he damages his other side of the front wing now, and maybe a bit desperate, but I think perhaps that is just enough for LB to consolidate P2. Runes is lost either side of his front wing now. So that Aston Martin will be crying loads through this sector now. As you can see, the gap to LB Racing is pretty much done and dusted for P2. We'll ride on board with Josh the guy there as he comes round to seal his first race win of this season. Around the final corner, and what a drive from the McLaren. Sealed the first race win of the season. Sensational from Josh the guy. A brilliantly driven race for a one-stop. LB Racing comes home in second position. Runes is in third, as we do have a bit of a battle going on here. Avenir has dropped it somewhere, as no apologies, he hasn't. James Gardner comes home in fourth position. Avenir in fifth. Please ignore LB Racing. He has just left the lobby, so it will class him in P. Well, it will class him at the back, but he did come home in P2. As the rest of the drivers making their way round to finish the Grand Prix. Points for everybody tonight, and more impressively, not a single DNF in that race. No virtual safety cars, no actual safety cars as well, which is also very nice to see. Just the last two cars to cross the line of Primeval and Bacon Bear. Primeval just coming around the last corner to take home P14 and the fastest lap of the Grand Prix of a 1:26.390. There we go, guys. We have officially completed halfway stage of this season. So we're on to the back half of the calendar now, as the championship falls on the sharp end of the knife. Josh the guy with a very deserving a race win. Absolutely superb drive to take the race win. Brilliant drive from the McLaren. Also a good shout out to LB Racing in P2 and Runes keeping us entertained towards the end of the Grand Prix. So Josh Sagai was the race winner. Primeval set the fastest lap. Driver of the day by the game went to Robsu. Robsu also got the most overtakes, and the cleanest driver was Lil Louis Grill. Right, so quickly, Josh Sagai came home in first. LB Racing was second. Runes in third. James Gardner in fourth position, Avenir in fifth, Stanley sixth, Joey B seventh, Drogon eighth, Ralphie ninth, Robsu 10th, MS in 11th, Ads in 12th, Lulu Grill in 13th, and then I believe it was Primeval and Bacon Bear. So that is the Grand Prix completed for tonight. Just quickly bolt through what's to come for the rest of the week. So Tier 2 this time tomorrow will be just finishing their Grand Prix. I sadly will not be able to attend tomorrow's race, but please do look out for Ghost's stream, who will be commentating with Dakar. That will pop up in the commentary Discord chat tomorrow. Friday sees Tier 1 take to the grid, and then the pinnacle of APP in Elite on Sunday night take on the desert of Abu Dhabi. Last but not least, we do have the podcast to be dropped by Ghost hopefully tonight. Please do get in the Discord and at him and let him know to drop the podcast. I will also send him a reminder, as my reminder was the reminder which reminded him to do it. So, yeah, get on his case. And last but not least, we will select driver of the day. I will keep it short and sweet. I will go for Josh the Guy to manage a superb race win. Dealt with it very well. Didn't get involved in any silly incidents from what I saw. So I am thoroughly impressed with Josh's drive tonight, and it was a good race win for the McLaren driver. Right, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. It has been a pleasure having you with me tonight. I will catch you next Monday. I'll quickly just have a mooch what circuit it is next week. Would have files on the right server. Season 18 calendar. Here we go. So next week we have got Britain. Britain with a unique twist. So we race around. We do a sprint race around Britain, going the right way round, and for the main race, we will do the circuit in reverse. So that is going to be interesting. I don't know who came up with that idea, but yes, looking like a very tasty Grand Prix next week around Britain. So thank you once again for tuning in, everybody. Please do like the stream and drop us a follow on YouTube. Thank you for spending your Monday night with me in APP Tier 3. And for now, it's thank you and goodbye.